Of course, we've been told to BPC we need to be calling this the Ask the Consultant session grant. I don't want to be too politically incorrect and call it the Stump the Consultant, but secretly you and I know what the real purpose for this is. So we've got a bunch of questions here that we're going to walk through, and I'm going to start with a couple here for you, Murray, if you're ready to go.
Ready when you are, Stephen.
Oh, I can see the sweat on your brow, Murray.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
It happens twice a year. Never, never looked forward to this segment. Here we go.
Okay. Now, put your accountant hat on, please.
Sure.
Why does my Exo system force me to open and close accounting periods? Other packages rely on user entry dates that can be passed through to the system. Why, Murray? Why?
Well, the reason is because Exo was originally designed with input from accountants. And the one thing that accountants are very keen on is if they report a number to the board or to the management team or the CEO, they want to make sure that number doesn't change later as someone comes along and plugs a sneaky journal in after they've decided that the period's closed. So your closing periods is a key feature of Exo, and it's one for the accountants. Similarly with opening new periods, if you haven't opened a period, then you can't post into it. And therefore, we're not losing money into the future, as they say.
Fantastic. Now, I don't know if you all heard it or if it was just Grant's New Zealand accent, but I was sure he had a pun there of excellent exo. So speaking of excellent exo, are there, sorry, how do you create batch payment for different currencies in Exo, Murray?
Right. So the first thing you need to make sure is that if you've got different currencies, you need different GL bank accounts set up as well. So step number one is make sure you've got a bank account GL for each currency. Then the simplest way, and if I share my screen, I can. Okay. Am I on Exo?
Yes, you are.
Woohoo! Got it. First go. So if I bring up Exo config and I drag that across, inside business admin, if we go to our creditors and we go to creditor account groups, we can set up account groups based on the currency. And then inside our payment processing utility, and apologies, I'll just have to wait for this to launch. All my notes comes through the finance module. By the way, I've got Exo Business 2024.2 open here. This is the beta version that I've got, but there is a live version released now. But if we take a look at our filtering options inside payment process, you'll notice account group is one of them. So we can then filter based on those currencies. Obviously, we need to configure all of our USD clients. We need to set their account group to be the USD creditor account group. And then we'll only pull through those accounts that are part of that account group. And we can see here's our currency here. So that's the easiest way.
Fantastic, Murray. Of course, I'm not sure that we'll be paying too many US-based creditors anytime soon. Oof. Sorry, I'll leave the politics for another day. All right, continuing on with the accounting type questions, and we're moving here a little bit into the operational side. How can I enter overseas freight logistics invoices when they're due when I haven't received the stock yet? That old chestnut, Murray.
Yeah. And there's no like perfect answer. But the one that most people work with is to generate an invoice based on lookup stock items or coded directly to the GL, to make that initial payment. And then when the stock arrives, reverse out that finance payment, and process your stock all the way through to creditor invoice. That's probably the most common approach to tackling this scenario. I mean, there are other companies that will do it simply by they'll just put a payment to that, whether it's the supplier or the freight forwarder or whoever it is that they're having to raise an invoice for. They'll put it through as an estimate and then adjust that again, reverse that out when the real invoice comes through. But yeah, it just depends on the different scenarios. Work through your specific scenario with your partner, because there can be some variables there. Like, if you've got a customs invoice that's got a line that's 100% GST, for example, there's a way of dealing with that in Exo as well. So yeah, work with your partner and they'll show you the best option for you.
Good stuff. Now, seeing as you have Exo open, how can you manage pop-up screens opening on a second, third, fourth, or fifth screen?
That and now I'm nervous because it's going to show every window that I've got open, but I think I can show you here. I just need to remember how to do it.
Live demos, Murray.
Like demos, gotta love them. So it's the Windows key plus tab, and what that does is it'll show you every window that you've got open. So if I do it, if I'm sharing my screen, there you go. That's what I've got. And so yeah, that's the best way of doing it. Windows plus tab, note that one down, because yeah, sometimes you can get caught out with that. If you've got a little date prompt or something rather like that, or selecting your location, and it pops up in behind the main screen, that can have you scratching your head for more.
There's also some options to control which screen it shows on, or set the defaults around that. If you right click on the EB icon, I think it's right click on the EB icon, is that right?
Are you actually asking me to do that? You want me to,
And form position.
form position.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can, if you have some problems, for example, with job costing opening up on your own monitor, you can actually set your form position and save that. And that can also just help if you're getting things going the wrong way. All right, next question. When is MYOB making Exo payroll end of life? And will we still have the ability and the access to print pay slips after that time?
Yeah, for Exo payroll, obviously Exo business, as we've heard, no intention for end of life. But for Exo payroll, MYOB are going to stop issuing or stop renewing licenses in November of this year. So if you renewed your license, for example, in April, then you will have that license for the 12-month period. So, your system will keep running until April 2026, but they're going to stop renewing licenses in November. In terms of accessing payroll after your license is expired, there's a functionality, I think, called archive mode. And if you put your system in archive mode, you should still be able to access the information without being able to process a pay or do anything like that, or add employees or anything like that. MYOB are also offering a service, a data extraction service, where they're their team will extract the data from your payroll database and present that to you. I don't know which format it's in, presumably it's Excel, but there's that option as well. It's a paid service, they charge you for it. Not sure how much it costs.
Now, I think we're a little short of time, so I'll hit you with one other question, Murray. Are there any new features or enhancements coming to Exo in the future?
Yes, there is. So MYOB are still committed to 2 releases a year. So we should get that next release around June of this year. For our Australian clients who have used contractors, there'll be some updates to TPAR coming out in that release. And there was one other thing that MYOB was referring to, and that's around Outlook. And you may have noticed that in Outlook over the last few months, maybe a year now, you got that little toggle in the top right-hand corner that says "Try new Outlook." And Microsoft are steadily pushing us all down the path of running this new version of Outlook. The next release of Exo should have compatibility with that version of Outlook. So you can try it without it preventing you from emailing out of Exo.
Fantastic. And you heard it here first. I think we're going to end there. Murray, thank you very much for your assistance.
Thank you.